Welcome back everyone. My name is Josh Kinney and this will be the final tutorial I'll do on Publish. In this one we'll learn how to use GitHub and actually set our site up where others can reach that absolutely free. That's right, no hosting fees, no domain that you have to buy. Within GitHub Pages we can do this all with absolutely no cost. So let's go ahead and all right, so let's jump into GitHub. Right here I have a brand new GitHub page I just created, and we're going to go up here to the top. Make sure you hit this down arrow here and then click on Profile. Now I'm already in the profile, but now I'm getting you to the same spot. From there you're going to see your name. This name is super important. Go ahead and copy it. From there we're going to go ahead and hit our repository because we're going to add a new one. Click on the green new. And then we're going to paste what we just copied. So it needs to say our name here because we're the owner. Then the exact same name after that. Then you want to do .github.io. And this is going to link us to GitHub Pages. So it needs to be this exact format. This needs to match your name or your login name, .github.io. Super important. From there, we're going to just put host our static site by publish. All right, we're going to keep it public. It has to stay public. Do not try to click private because it will not work if you have private. Now, if you do buy GitHub's Pro version, then you can go ahead and set this private where no one can see your code. So if you want to host this and you don't want no one to go in and see your repository, you need to set this to private and you need to buy GitHub's Pro version. For now, public will work for us. We don't care if someone sees our code. Okay, next thing, we're going to add a Git Ignore template. Click the down arrow and we're going to type in Swift because that's what we're going to be using the template of. And then we're going to go ahead and hit create. It's going to create us a file with just a Git Ignore in here. Click on this Git Ignore and then over here you're going to see this pencil to edit. Go ahead and click that. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then you're going to do a / and then type in capital O UT PUT. And that is going to get anything inside of that output folder inside of our site. It's going to go ahead and ignore that and not push that up to GitHub because there's no reason to push that up, just extra code. For whatever reason, if you would like that, then go ahead and don't even add that Git Ignore template, as you can copy that from your project you already have. But if you are wanting to ignore that, this is how you do it. Okay, from there, we're going to go ahead and go down to the bottom here and hit commit changes and scroll down to verify that it says / output, and we're good to go. Now, we are going to go into this repository by clicking it, and you're going to see the green code, just like we did in the last video. Click on that and go ahead and click the clipboard here to copy this. Okay, from there, we're going to go ahead and go back to our desktop now, and we're going to open up Terminal. So here's Terminal. I want to go ahead and access the desktop because that's where I want to put mine. If you want to put it somewhere else, by all means, go for it. So we're going to do CD desktop. And then from there, we're going to do git clone. So a git clone because we were cloning that repository. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and paste in what we just copied, hit enter, and you'll see that Swift for Life shows up there. All right. So now if you're just starting, we can go ahead and use this, add publish to it, and go from there and create our site. If you're following along from the last video and you guys made this Swift site with me, we're going to go ahead and open up this Swift site, copy all the resources in here, and then we're going to go ahead and open up this and paste them into here. So we're going to, because we've already created it, we're not going to go ahead and recreate it. So now this is going to mirror this Swift site. Okay, from there, we're going to go ahead and open up the package.swift. Actually, we're going to, yeah, that'll work. Open up the package.swift, and then we're going to go into sources, Swift site, and then you want to go to this main .swift, because we got to make a change here. If you're getting issues up here, just go ahead and ignore them. We know they're working from last time, but this is super important. So we have here where we're trying our theme, and then we have additional steps here. Go ahead and erase additional steps and that bracket with the period. It should just say deploy with ed, so deploy using. Using should be capital U. Okay, and then we're gonna do that .github, but instead of what we have in here, we are gonna put our own. So if you go back to your GitHub page, we're gonna copy this exact thing here. So it's gonna be your name / your name.github.io. So let's go ahead and do that. I suggest you pasting it in for safety, but I'm gonna be bold and do it without it. Okay, so then from there we are going to go ahead and fix the rest of these mistakes. So we need this to have a comma after this here, and then we need to pass in use SSH, and we're going to set this to false because we're just going to use the normal HTTPS. And then from there we need to go ahead and delete this and delete this. Then you'll have your comma, and then your plugin should be your splash, just like normal. Okay, so that should take care of that. Go ahead and hit Command Save, and if you want, go ahead and hit Command R to run it to verify that it saves. And then we are okay, that works, and we're done with that. Okay, so now we are going to, we know that our Swift package is good. We're going to finish up our calls here. So I'll go back into your terminal here, and there's a few more things we need to do. So now that we added these changes inside of here, as you can see, so here's our folder here. We added these changes and we fixed our package Swift. We have to add this to GitHub now. So you're going to do a git add and then a dot for all. Not a git repository. Oh, you can see I'm still in desktop. I forgot. We have to go into our Swift for Life. And then we'll run that. So then you'll want to do a git add dot. Okay, then the next thing you want to do is a commit. So you want to do git commit -m for your message. And then in double quotes, you want to add what you want your commit to say. So we are going to say changed main.swift file and added site, because we added the whole site to this folder. Go ahead and hit OK there. And then from there, the next thing we want to do is we want to push this. So you do git push, and then you want to type in ORIGIN. So it'll push the origin. And we're back. Okay, so I had a little issue with my GitHub accounts. Since I made that new one, I needed to add my main GitHub account as a collaborator. So I just went ahead and took care of that. So now I'll have permission to go ahead and push to this repository. So we're going to go ahead and do that git push origin, like I said. And there it goes. And then the last thing we need to do now is, if you remember in the last video, we did a publish and then a run like this, run, and that will run it on port 8000, but we actually did the -p, and then we could set it to whatever port you want, 8080, 9090, 8888, whatever you want. Instead of this publish run, we got to do publish deploy, because if you go ahead and hit publish enter, deploy is where you're generating and deploying the website in the current folder. So we're going to tell it, hey, we don't need you on a local site or a local port. We need you just running. So do that, publish, deploy. Then it'll go ahead and go through deploying. Now right here, we need to make sure that this was successful. So give it a second, let it go through this. The first time you do this, it's going to take a little bit, but the second time and thereafter, it'll go pretty quick. build complete, great. And now after this build complete is where it'll tell you the pass or failed. Awesome. So 1 out of 1 is successful. Look for, instead of this green check mark, you might get a red X. You need to go back and make sure your code is correct. Most of the time, that's in that swift.main file. I had a couple of issues doing this, so I know. Anyway, so now we can go back to our GitHub, hit refresh, and you will see we have 2 branches now. One is of the main, which is what GitHub gives us, and then the one is the master, which is what we actually set up. So we need to do one last thing. We need to go into our settings on this repository or repo, and then you want to scroll down till you see this green rectangle. This is where your site's going to be published to. So you need to make sure it is your login. Again, mine's Swift for life, so that's good. .github.io. If this is not right, if this has a issue, you need to go back and look at your repo, because that means you didn't spell this correctly, and it's not going to work. That'll save you a lot of time and headache. I know I said that now 3 times, but that is super important to save you some time troubleshooting. Next thing, right here you can see that I'm on branch master, and you can change this. You have main and then I have master. It's probably going to be set to main. I would suggest setting it to master, because master is the branch. If you didn't change the branches, master is the branch that we pushed out. So right now you can see main was changed 21 minutes ago, and that's the default, but master was changed 7 minutes ago. It's got all the latest. So you would keep it on master. You technically did push to origin, so it should have updated main. So you could probably get away with it, but just to be safe, change it to master and stay on the safe side. All right, so now it's time to see our work pay off. Let's go ahead and open up a new tab. And then from there, we're gonna put in our name.github.io and hit enter. You're going to see it. So here it is. Of course, this needs a lot of work, but it's just the basic principles for you guys. You can see that it's actually working just like it's supposed to. And the best part is, go ahead and exit out of your Xcode, exit out of your terminal, all that stuff, and refresh, and it's still going to work, because now this is being published through GitHub. So you can give this to your employers, and you can give it to co-employees, you can give it to people you're collaborating with, and it's just an awesome tool to use and kind of stand out. Like I always say, you need to be able to stand out, and this is a great way to do it. One last thing I want to leave you with, though, and I said it earlier, but I don't know if anyone caught on. This right here is a public repository or a public repo. So anyone right now can come in here and look at all of your code and grab it. So if you have stuff that you want to keep, like say you made this awesome file and you don't want to share with anybody, you have to go ahead and grab GitHub Pro. And that's going to be able to allow you to go ahead and make this private. Because if you go ahead and go into settings here, and I'll show you real quick, and you go all the way down here and change visibility, and then you try to make private, you're going to get a warning here. It's going to say you will permanently lose all stars and watchers, which is fine, but all pages published from this repository. So you're going to lose your page. You can keep your repository and no one can see your code, but they're also not going to be able to go to that page that you set up. So it's super important that you understand that. And I think that's going to do it for this video. If you guys got any benefit out of this, please like and share this to others. Hopefully that'll help them as well. And if you have any questions or comments, please drop those below and I'll get to them when I can. Lastly, if you want to see my upcoming content, please hit that bell and also subscribe to the page, because that truly helps. As always, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.